Welcome, everybody, to the essential oil experience, the calming experience. My name is Heather Portwood, and tonight I'm going to mute everybody just really quick. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to share a little bit about my story first. I have kind of off and on dealt with anxiety, but last year, there have been two major traumatic experiences in my life where anxiety was just kind of a result of what spurred from those events. And one was a couple of years ago when I found out that my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And there was a whole issue with that where he was just in a really bad spot after getting the diagnosis, but he left us, and we didn't know where he went, and he was gone for a couple of weeks. And it was a really amazing story of how the Lord took control of that situation. And he's back home, and he's actually cancer free, thankfully. But it was just such a traumatic experience that if you don't really have the tools, or it's kind of, if you've experienced anxiety, it's not something that you can just snap out of. You just can't. And so it has its course that it kind of runs. And so what I'm hoping to share tonight are just some tools that can help with that. So my dad's situation was one. And then last year, my husband had a heart attack, and he's 42. Thankfully, the Lord took care of that situation too, and he is better now. But that was just last year sucked. It just sucked. And then I had a miscarriage in October of last year. So it just felt like the entire year was just suffocating with just massive amounts of anxiety. And it got to where I couldn't sleep at night. And so I was drinking lots of wine in the evening to try to calm myself down so that I could sleep. Sometimes it was just pass out because I could not sleep. My mind, it didn't matter what I did. It just would not go away. And so if you do deal with anxiety, alcohol is pretty much not the best thing for anxiety. It just makes it worse. And so it was like that ongoing cycle of, I wouldn't drink during the day. It would just be before bed. But then in the morning, it would be, I would panic because of the chemical imbalance that was causing. So I'm going to go over a little bit of prevention. So we know that the winter months are difficult when we have lack of sun. So we know vitamin D does contribute to, or lack of, can contribute to anxiety. So, when you start going into the fall, you're going to want to make sure that you have a really good vitamin D supplement. I'm out in the sun a lot during the summer. I feel it's like night and day. In the summer, I feel amazing. Just amazing, almost doing limited amounts of things. But once I'm cooped up in the house during the winter, it's a challenge. So your vitamin D, a lot of people who do deal with anxiety, they have a deficiency in our B vitamins. So Super B is a huge one. I have what's called the MTHFR gene, which is a mutated gene. So if you haven't been tested for that, what my body doesn't do is it doesn't break down any type of synthetic vitamins. So like I need to take a methylated vitamin B, which is, I think the more I research and study, I lean more towards everybody should probably be taking the methylated type, just because especially if you don't know. But Super B, Young Living Super B is great. Vitamin or B12 specifically is what tends to be deficient in people who have lots of anxiety issues. And then mineral essence. Like I don't know why I ever go off taking it. It's like I just get out of the habit, and then before it's like a month or two and I haven't taken it. But mineral essence is a game changer for anything mental wise. So we know that anxiety, I hate using the term mental illness, but it kind of does line up in that. And a lot of those mental illnesses really are vitamin deficiencies. So it's not just necessarily a diagnosis that we're stuck with. It's learning how to support our bodies. I'm going to go over specific things that have worked for me personally, oil-wise. When I experience, if you have ever experienced anxiety or a panic attack, I've ended up in the hospital 3 different times from a panic attack within the last 8 months, because if you've ever had one, they're terrifying. You feel like you're dying. You literally feel like you're having a heart attack. And that's basically why I've gone in, is because it's like, it's hard to tell. So what I have figured out now is working myself, now that I know what that is I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die from it. I need to find a quiet space. For me, they last about, I've had one last a couple of hours, but it's traumatizing and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But doing a raindrop on your spine, if you have anybody there with you that can just use the raindrop oils, doesn't matter what order, you just put about 5 to 6 drops of each up the spine, and then have whoever's doing it just kind of feather, this is how you feather, and just start from the lower back and just feather up the spine. And then you'll just layer all of the oils. Part of the reason for that is there's a lot of misfires happening in our brains when we're having a panic attack. So what those oils do are kind of really get into our central nervous system, and the spine is in a perfect place for those. And that's one of the amazing things with the raindrop technique. So that almost always calms me down to where I'm out of crisis mode. Now, granted, if you think you need to go to the hospital, go, because sometimes it's just that peace of mind. But that can get me out of it. Also, applying calming things over my heart, like lavender, peace and calming. Valor's really good. I tend to stay away from the more, more stimulating oils. I try to use the more calming ones, because if you're like, I'm sitting there taking my blood pressure while I'm having a panic attack. And part of that is the trauma from my husband's heart attack that I walked through. So also peppermint. A lot of times when people go through lots of anxiety or panic attacks, it's that feeling like you can't breathe, like that suffocating feeling. Your chest maybe feel heavy. Maybe you feel like you can't get a deep breath. And so I just put a couple drops of peppermint in the palm of my hand. I'll rub it all around my neck, the base of my neck, and then all around my temples, my forehead, and then even here in my sinuses. And it really, really just helps calm down, because you can breathe. And so that's, for me, that's been once I feel like I can't breathe, it's like it almost escalates. So I haven't had one in quite a while. So I'm really hopeful, because I've gotten back on, I've quit drinking all alcohol. I don't even want it anymore, not in the slightest. Then taking my mineral essence every day, taking my Super B, taking my vitamin D. I also take multigreens. But we know when we get in this area, we're kind of like in a crisis mode. And so it's really important that you're listening, that this is an alert to you that you've got to take care of yourself. A lot of people can get anxiety will increase because of stress. Like if you have a really chronically stressful job, if your home is really stressful, you might want to look at cortisol as well, which is a supplement from Young Living that just kind of helps with the cortisol level, because when you get stressed out, your cortisol level goes really, really high. It's also called the death hormone because it can cause all types of things like inflammation and such. So I pretty much take 1 or 2 cortisol every night. So, and it does say, I think it says on there you can take a break, but that's just literally to make sure that you don't get dependent on things. But for right now, I'm taking it every night until I feel like I'm good without it. Does anybody on here have anything specific that works for you that you have found? If you want to unmute yourself and share.
Heather, this is Kristen.
Hey, Kristen.
Hey, I'll tell you what, because I have, it's gotten way better, but I've dealt with really bad anxiety for years. And I found that the combination oils of peace and calming, lavender, and cedarwood.
No, you're not.
Sorry, hold on. Those oils, like, just dabbed on my feet, like up and down my feet 4 to 5 times a day when I'm having really bad episodes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm consistent with that, it just, I don't know, it just works. Like those 3 in particular. I've tried others, but for some reason that combination works really well. And then this doesn't have to do with oils, but I started working out again. I hate working out. So when I would do it at home, I would work out for about 20 minutes. But when I go and do this one class where I like have to sweat a lot, I work out for 40 minutes. And for some reason at 20 minutes, my brain switches over and gets out of that loop, you know, the anxiety loop.
Yeah.
My counselor called it, it's something brain. I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically where your brain just like loops and it doesn't fire properly. So the oils and working out have been tremendous for me.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kristen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that brings up a good point that I was talking to a friend of mine the other day that I tend to, I don't know, you might resonate with this or not. I'll play the scenario in my head and it's the negative scenario. So if I can pick up on it and change the loop, like Kristen talks about the loop, where if I can start whatever's bringing me anxiety, like I'm going to walk you through an exercise, and I like to do this in the morning before anybody's awake, where it's quiet versus before I go to bed. But I have done it before I go to bed as well. But just envisioning how I want my day going. If there's any scenarios that might cause me anxiety, I envision it how I want it to go, not how it has gone or the negative way that it's gone. It really helps, because once you get in that loop of playing it over and over and over about the negative way, all the negative things that could go wrong, or the way it's gone in the past, that will stir up anxiety. And so this is just another tool of, you know, how the Lord talks about renewing our mind and taking our thoughts captive. That's what this is. So I know for me, it took a while. Like it took a couple of weeks for me to like recognize I've played that scenario in my head the wrong way for like 20 seconds now, for me to stop it, picture it in my mind, and then play it the opposite way, because we've made a basically a groove in our brain circuits of this negative thinking or this negative pattern that happens. So it will take a while for it to redirect. So just kind of think of it like that, you know, taking the same trail every day on your bike and how that groove gets in there. We've got to take the other trail and make the other path in our brain. Okay. So what I'm going to do is you can choose to turn your camera off if you want to, so that you can have your own space where nobody's staring at you, where nobody's looking at you. And I am going to turn on some music, and I'm going to just show you what oils I brought out. I have Higher Unity, Awaken, Joy, and Valor. Use whatever you have, whatever frankincense is good, Valor's good, Stress Away's good out of the kit. Any of the emotional oils, Believe, Idaho Blue Spruce, let's see, what are some more? White Angelica, any of the Bible oils. Just use what you have, whatever you like. And what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to play some music, and you're going to watch a little ambiance water tricklage. And what we're going to do is you're going to pick an oil that you want to use. You're going to put it in your hand, and then you're going to breathe in 3 times, deep breaths. Okay. And then I am going to say a little sentence, and you're going to repeat after me. Like, I'm going to mute you all, but I want you to breathe in. Like, for example, the first one is, I breathe out confusion. I breathe in your truth. So we're going to breathe in really deeply, and then you're going to repeat that after me. I breathe in or breathe out confusion. I breathe in your truth. And I'm going to go slow. We're going to take our time with this. I have I have my journal here and a pen that sometimes when I'm doing this, I'll get a thought or a picture in my head, and I just want to jot it down. So if you have something like that, we're going to take time. And then after we're finished, I will tell you guys to turn your videos back on if you want to. And then if there's anybody who wants to share what you experienced, or if you have anything that, any release that you felt, you can feel free to share that if you want, only if you want to. Okay, go ahead, and if you can, turn your video off. And I'm going to get this video real quick. Hold on. Okay, can you guys see me? Can somebody hop back on and tell me?
We can just kind of see you in the corner.
Okay, but can you see the YouTube thing?
Yes.
Okay, does anybody see that thing that says you cannot minimize Zoom when recording that meeting? I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop or start. Let's see, Rachel, is that you? You want me to mute you? There you go. Hold on. Rachel, I can't mute you.
I thought mine was muted. Hold on.
Okay. Now, I know that you can't do this like out in public, but if you can just make some time and some space for yourself, it will help tremendously. Okay, we're going to take in 3 deep breaths. Okay. I breathe out confusion. I breathe in your truth. Repeat that. Another deep breath. I breathe out anxiety. I breathe in your joy. Repeat that. And again, it doesn't really matter what your religious belief is. This is us connecting with the Creator of heaven and earth. I breathe out fear. I breathe in your peace. If you have another oil there, you can change your oils or put in some more. I'm going to use Valor. We're going to take some more deep breaths. And while you're breathing, if you can just kind of imagine yourself breathing out these things that we're talking about and breathing in the affirmation that we're talking about. I breathe out doubt. I breathe in your acceptance. I breathe out all sickness. I breathe in your healing. I breathe out infirmities. I breathe in restoration. I breathe out lack. I breathe in prosperity. I breathe out condemnation. I breathe in your freedom. If you're just hopping on now, do you mind muting yourself? I can't do it from this. I breathe out sorrow. I breathe in your joy. And then you can get another oil that you have, if you have one. If not, that's just fine. I'm going to use joy right now. Take some deep breaths. It's really helpful to take it in through your nose and then out through your mouth. I breathe out wrong thinking. I breathe in God's wisdom. I breathe in the breath of life. I breathe in the Holy Spirit. One thing that's really great with this is just because when we have anxiety, we can tend to, our breathing gets really out of whack. And that's when, you can pass out because our breathing gets off. So this just really helps with, making sure you're not hyperventilating, and it's calming. I breathe in joy. I breathe in the peace and the love of God. I want you all to just close your eyes. Heavenly Father, we come to you right now. And Lord, we allow you. Just let your peace fall upon us now. In Jesus' name, we release all worry. We breathe in confidence and trust in the Lord God. I know that all things will be worked out for the good and for your glory. Friends, everything is going to be okay. No matter how bad it looks, no matter how bad it seems, no matter how much pain you're in, God has you in the palm of his hand, and he can take care of any issue. He will take care of anything you're going through. According to his will and his timing and his plan, know that the Father loves you, and everything is going to be okay. We'll let the music run for just maybe another 30 seconds or so, just to give you some more space if you need any more time. Okay, I'd love to hear your thoughts on if anything, if you felt a shift. I know sometimes it's just kind of, if there's nothing really on your mind at the moment, but just kind of making that safe, place where you can just breathe in and breathe out. And then we went through those pathways. So what we did was we redirected where we're going to put our thoughts, where we're going to put our breath, which is really important with anxiety, is breathing and breath.
I want to say something, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to affirm everything that you've said. 100%. I'm on an extremely similar, almost identical, you and I have talked, journey. And that's the vitamins, all of that. It's 100%, you guys. And it is your body saying, I need something. It's not just slap on a label.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's something that can be healed. And it's we just need to be aware. And I love these affirmations so much. They're so good. And they're not just, we kind of downplay things sometimes like this. And I want to say that, so I've got like this notebook that is apart over the last year, for me flipping through it and saying my affirmations and taking notes. And like tonight, I wrote down those things, and those are going to be things that I add to my daily things because it works, because I'm making the new pathways. And so if you're all in doubt about this, I just really wanted to encourage you that this is very real and it really does work. And I just wanted to say that. And these were just great.
Awesome. Thank you, Angie.
I don't know where you got them from, but
it was actually a prophetic lady on YouTube that I watch whenever she comes on. She did this one time, and I was like, I was actually praying for a tool. Like I needed a tool that wasn't going to take forever. Like I needed to be able to sit down. I have 6 kids. Sure enough, when I wake up, they're like 30 minutes behind. It doesn't not matter what time I wake up. So I just prayed for a tool. And so I sat down and I typed it all out of what she said. And I say it I do this every morning. It doesn't take long. The important thing, and just like what Angie was saying, once we realize that words create life, then it's a lot. Let's see. Yeah, I can, I think I typed it out in my notes section. I'm pretty sure I've had it for a while, so I can either retype it back or I'll have this on recording and then I'll share. But yeah, for sure. Words create life. So if it's the first thing that I can do in the morning, plus the morning is such an amazing time. I hate that people have to wake up and rush to work. But yeah, any other thoughts or comments from anyone?
Hey, it's Rachel.
Oh, hey, Rachel.
I started yoga about think I've been practicing for about 10 years and I've taught for about 5. And that was the first thing that allowed me to reduce anxiety. And then adding in oils, affirmations, conscious language have made a huge shift. And yoga breathing and just that deep breathing creates a shift within your body. Just if you think about how, like, when you're stressed and you take that big like sigh and you feel those emotions release, breath does such a huge thing. And then adding in the oils have been just made a tremendous it made it so much better. So if anyone has never tried that, it's just awesome.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And there's a woman, she's Young Living. I think her name is Sonia Swan, maybe. And I've watched some videos on her talking about conscious language.
Yeah, she's got a couple on YouTube. Her name's Sonia Swan. She's a great Christian lady. She's a crown diamond. Super sweet lady. Yeah, and there was something I was going to say. I can't remember.
But I just want to say, like, just and everything that you've said and all the tips, they work so well and they're so important. And part of it is just slowing down for me, because like when I get super anxious, my mind races, and for me to be able to stop and to slow those thoughts, it physically takes me slowing down and taking big, deep, full breaths. And then that way that the oils work to get to that part of, they go to the emotional part of the brain. They work so well.
That's what I was going to say. What reminded me, what you just said, was a lot of this is, I don't think when we're in a rush, we don't take the time to really sit and smell. I mean, we apply them all, we put them on all our spots. And so another really good thing about this exercise is just you are really taking time to breathe them in. Gail, did you want to share something?
Sure. Tuesday is my hardest day. I have an excellent week, retired, but Tuesday is my full day, getting up and going the whole day, and I'm late even now getting into your class a few minutes, but that's okay. It was excellent. I could just feel I hold it all in my shoulders and my neck. I could just feel it draining out, and very good. Thank you.
Awesome. It's good to hear. And you can find these, there's all these YouTubes on channel relaxing music and water and whatever on YouTube. So you can just get on there and find what you like. Anybody else?
Heather, this is Kristen again.
Hey.
I've been going to like counseling the last little bit, and something I learned, which I know that it happens, and everybody that has dealt with anxiety or a panic attack knows that this happens, but I could never like really put it into words. And so my counselor was telling me that, like, whenever you feel threatened basically threatened, your brain goes into fight, flight, or freeze, and it literally can't think anymore. And so that's what like, you get really anxious and it can skyrocket up into a panic attack. And she said, you will stay there where you can't basically process information correctly anymore until somebody pulls you out of it. She calls it like upstairs, downstairs brain. And so it like puts you up in upstairs brain, and until something or someone or oil or, like you said, going off by yourself and just breathing, that's the only thing that you have to do something like that in order to get your brain out of fight, flight, or freeze. And I just thought that was like I've been dealing with anxiety for years, and I've never had it put or heard it put that succinctly, you know, and it makes sense why you know, we've all, if you've been there before, you can't function when you're having an anxiety attack, you know? And so I don't know. I just thought it was cool that it's actually part chemically. I mean, like, it's the truth. Like, you can't function and you can't get out of that until you do something to physically get yourself out of it. So that's where the oils and breathing and all that.
And I think that's really what helps a lot with like the raindrop. Like, I can almost immediately feel myself pull out of it. Plus it's just, you know, I'm like, this is the best friend I don't want any longer. Like, I want to break up.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those things where it's, I'm not comfortable. I don't like it. And so it's also finally pulling myself to an aspect of no longer being the victim of it. That's one of the reasons why I was like, I can't drink alcohol anymore. It's just, it's not helping this. It's just keeping me in that victim loop. And so, but there's you know, I'm not saying everybody who has anxiety drinks alcohol, but
I do. I'm the same way though. I had to quit drinking it as well. It would spin me up and make me like not be able to sleep. My heart races really badly and my brain spins all night long. It's terrible. So I fully understand that.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything? With this being my first time doing it, you think this is worth sharing again? Like, I wanted it to be a smaller group before, so I could just get feedback.
I think so, definitely.
Okay.
I loved everything that you shared. Everything was perfect and truth, and I loved it.
Awesome.
Me too.
100%. It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
Okay, awesome. We'll do that. Well, that's all I have for tonight. It's real simple. I'll get this probably printed or typed up in probably a document or something, and then have all the leaders post in all the groups. I thought about this after the fact that you guys might want this, but then I was like, how am I going to anyway, I'll get it to you. And then tomorrow, hopefully I'll have all this transferred over to a YouTube link so that you guys can have it.
Can you answer one question
Yes.
for me really quick? I didn't hear what you said. It went with I breathe in restoration. What was I breathe out?
It's I breathe out infirmities.
Infirmities. Okay.
And I breathe in restoration.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. You all have an amazing evening, and we will talk soon. Bye.